Hello, everybody, and um, welcome back. If this is your second time here, I appreciate you coming back. If it's your first time listening, this is Man Without a Title. Just an unscripted um, podcast about real life issues, and not saying I have solutions, not saying I have remedies, just telling you my story. The last episode was called Who Am I? I gave a quick background of my life, from birth to present, somewhat, little family background and all that. But I just want to say up front for this episode, it's called My Past. Simple as that. And this isn't a confession, this isn't a highlight reel, this is just me being honest. Past. No matter where we go, no matter what we do, the past is always going to be in the room. May not be loud, may not speak up, but it's there. In our reactions, in our fears, in the way we love, in the way we protect people. A lot of people, there's a saying out there, says, let the past be the past. But the truth is, the past doesn't always just disappear. It gets carried forward. Uh, Sometimes quietly, sometimes painfully. There's a lot of stuff in my past that I'm not proud of. Matter of fact, some people may be watching. I hurt. I'm not perfect. I stole, I cheated, I lied, I betrayed, you know, um, I could keep going. Um, I wasn't, and still no, I'm a dirty man. We're all filthy creatures. Um, but your past is there. Whether people don't know your past or don't, think about it or whatever, but it's always in your head. It's not like I woke up one day and here I am. I'm him. I'm me. I didn't become him overnight. Um, I am a product of my environment, and um, you know, you do things to evolve as a baby into a child, from a child to a teenager to a man, and so on, and you adapt. And I told you guys a little bit about my rebellious stage and being mad at my dad and all that. But in that time, I developed a con man type attribute. I don't know, it's not an attribute. It's a curse. And I use that to get by in life. And I've stolen from people. I've got to know people, and I get them dirty. Whether I got to know them to get to like me, and then I borrowed money and they'll pay it back, or just to get one up, or whatever the case may be. And I'm not proud of any of that by any means. I'm not proud of it at all. But the decisions I made then affect my life now going forward. And I did some stuff years ago and to my father, and I'll just say it was disgusting. It was dirty. I should have never did it. And even though it's the past, it still affects everything now. And for a long time, I carried that shame with me. The shame is heavy. So you gotta understand that, just because you say you're sorry, it doesn't go away. As much as they tell you to be Christ-like and Christ turn the other cheek, and we're still human. Um, you know, it's gonna be in our nature to hold grudges or remember. Oh, I remember when he did this to me, and he owes me money, or I remember one time he, you know, cheated with his wife, or whatever the case may be. It stays. It sticks with you. It's always there. It's always replaying the moments in your head, and it's not a performance by any means. It's a screw up reel, not a blooper. Screw up. You see this, and it weighs heavy. It beats you up, and in your mind, it tears you down more. And I went through a big. I mean, still to this day, I go through it. Wandering stage. I was living here, and then I moved here, and then I would mess up a little bit, so I had to. I can move. And I'll move, and then I'll mess up, and I'll move again. And I have a friend of mine, and he's always honest with me, and he told me a few times. He said, "Man, you gotta put roots down. Gotta stay somewhere." It's just a fear of staying in one place for me for a long time. I feel like I don't know. I just scares me. I don't know why, but I spent a lot of time sitting, trying not to think about my mistakes. But no matter how much you try to not think about them, or put them in a little box, or put them away, they always come back around. And maybe not mentally by your own mind, but you could see someone and, oh man, you try to avoid them. Maybe, I don't know, stole something, or, talk bad about somebody and they found out, or you owe them money, whatever the case may be. But it haunts you. And no matter where you go or where you move or anything like that, it's always going to be there. And running from it, you know, it it stunted my growth as a man, because I could never be somewhere long enough to grow. I would go somewhere and establish a little bit and make some friends, and then I would do what I do. Something would happen, and I run. And I would go somewhere else, and then I would do the same thing, and I run again. And I just comes a point where you're sick of the scenery change. You just want out, and you just want it to stop. And it's not easy, and it doesn't make for a healthy life, healthy marriage. And I've affected a lot of people in um, this path that I've chose, and I think about that. That's heavy on me. Um, you know, not being around for my kids as much as I should, my boys. I wish I could have done more, but again, I was a kid raising a kid. I didn't know any better, and that's no excuse. Believe me, I had great role models. You know, that told me what to do. I just didn't want to listen. I knew more than they did. And that's the biggest thing. And one of the hardest truths I've had to learn is you can acknowledge your past without glorifying it and without being trapped in it. But you don't ever be proud of it, but be proud that you survived, right? I'm here. And thank God I'm still breathing, I'm still around. There's some things I did that, let's just be honest here. So it's a blessing I'm still around. By the grace of God, I'm here. And only by the grace of God. Family had a lot to do with it. Aunts and uncles, cousins, um, always worked out for me, even when I didn't deserve it. And praise God that, He placed them people in my life, certain friends. Um, I thank God for them every day. Uh, but my goal is to not repeat it and don't pass it down. You have to break this cycle, right? And the question, it hits different when you have kids, right? And because suddenly your past isn't just your past, right? So my dad came over from Greece as a kid, so he's an immigrant, legal, but he built a good name for us. And when I get in trouble, when I did some stuff that I shouldn't have did, and I got caught, I was in the paper, whatever, I was messing with his last name. But now when I have kids, before they can even make a life for themselves, I tainted that name that I'm giving them. That makes you think. It makes your stomach just churn, you know? Very uncomfortable to think about, to talk about. And, I try to go back and think, where did all that come from? All the evilness, the drugs. And I mean, I know why I was doing it. I was doing it to escape the reality of my life. And, I didn't like who I was. So if I don't love myself, I can't love my kids, can't love my dad, can't love my wife. Because if you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. So I didn't love myself. So my only way to get that and black it out and block it was, let's go out and get drunk, black out drunk, let's do some cocaine, whatever. Let's just do as much as I can so I can't remember. Did that for years. Destroyed everything. I mean, everything. I was making good money at a job for many years and it ruined it. I lost everything. And nothing good comes from that. So until you can recognize the problem, I can't get it out. I can't talk. That's why I'm here. And ask God for his comfort and the ability to take it from me. I will always be that person. And I'm not saying that I'm going to change overnight. I'm not going to be instantly a perfect human being. It doesn't work like that. We all know that. Because I haven't dealt with my past fully yet. There's a lot of things out there that I have to deal with. But I'm learning to let loose little moments when I drive in the car, I sit in the back seat, or different things like that. I'll get tidbits, and it will make me think, and I'll try to deal with it. If I could say it any other way, just try to just deal with it. But just because I try to deal with it, it doesn't mean they're going to go away. And I still have to face it. I still have to, have it haunt me all the time. And you stop, it stops you from being able to grow, like I said before. And I noticed that when I actually took the time to sit down and pray and ask God to take this from me, ask for forgiveness, it was kind of like a little weight was lifted off my shoulder. I could feel because I wanted to change, then he could work in me. Because if you don't want to change, nothing's going to change. You have to want to change. And I wanted to stop controlling me, my past, I don't want it to be my legacy anymore. And again, this isn't easy for me to talk about. I'm not proud of anything I'm saying. And I owe a lot of people apologies. I've done some pretty nasty stuff. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not a different person overnight. And I'm not saying that I'm all of a sudden holier than thou, and that's nothing to do with any of this. Just sharing with you guys that everybody is dealing with something. This is just my personal story. And yeah, it's hard to talk about, especially into a camera to where I don't know who's going to hear this. Maybe someone's going to hear that I did something to, or that I did screw over, or that I did something dirty to them, or whatever. Borrowed money, getting paid back, whatever the case may be. And they're going to hear this and they're going to say, oh, yeah, I have to be ready for that. But guess what? I made my bed. And that's the problem, I think, like in this era that we're living in, is there's too many people that don't want to take accountability. Okay? And as I did for many, many years, I blame everybody else for my mistakes, my problems. Well, you have to come to a point to where you have to face it. No excuses. It's you did it. Nobody else made you do it. You are the issue, not your dad or this person or your mom or whoever. You have to say, I learned, I changed, and I don't want to go back. It's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. And you guys got to remember, too, the one thing that gets in my head is, growth doesn't always mean that you have to all of a sudden be perfect. Just because you're trying to change and be a better person, be a better man, be a better father, be a better husband, be a better son, it doesn't mean that now all of a sudden, oh, you have to, no, because it's not going to work like that. It's choosing who you want to become from here on out. Because my dad told me this years ago. He said, you could change, people say you can't change the past. He says, you could change the past by your future. So what you do from here on out, people, if you start living honest, true, holy, just try your best to be a good man, to be a righteous man. All of a sudden you'll notice, if you do it the right way through Christ, that He will all of a sudden collect the stuff in the past. Not change it, not take it away, but all of a sudden it will be further away to where it won't be right next to you, weighing you down. All of a sudden you feel lighter, okay? It's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be snap of a finger. It's not going to be something that all of a sudden, no. It does never work like that. You have to put the work in. Simple stuff. I was on the phone with my dad the other day, and I said something. I said, oh yeah, we was here in Ohio. He said, well, when you got up here? I said, I don't know, a week ago. Instantly, I said, hold on, bro. I lied. I didn't think about the time I would have been here for 2 weeks. He said, oh, well, thanks for clarifying that. Was that really a big deal? No. Little stuff like that, you have to correct yourself, because if you don't catch yourself and you don't want to change, you won't. So, by little stuff, just a funny thing, your wife asked you, did you brush your teeth? Yeah. I didn't brush my teeth. It's harmless, still a lot, it's wrong. Little stuff like that, you start there. No, I didn't, babe. I gotta go brush my teeth. if you don't want your past to define you, hold on, let me rephrase this. Your past doesn't have to define you. If you honestly put it at his feet and ask for his help, because you're not going to do it on your own. And believe me, I'm no Bible pusher, nothing like that. I believe in Christ. I'm not a perfect Christian by any means. But I do know, and I've seen it in my life many times, that he can make things happen that no man can make happen. And it's always better to live for him and with him and against him, period. And again, that's just my opinion. I'm not trying to preach or convert or say nothing to anybody about that. I'm just talking about me here. But this was my past. But if you don't want your past to define you, then start making a good future. Start making a future you can be proud of, your kids can be proud of, your family can be proud of. And by doing that, it's going to be hard. Because you got to face a lot of shameful things. You have to come clean with some stuff. You have to remember not to be that man, but be this man. But your muscle memory, that's a big thing. Your memory, the way you were, is always going to want to try to come out. You have to stop it. You have to ask for strength. And when you want to say that lie, stop. If you say that lie, stop. Sorry, let me rephrase that. No, I did not brush my teeth, but I'm going to go brush my teeth. Okay, then slowly, what's going to happen is, if I'm defined as a liar, then after so long, people are going to say, oh, well, I could tell he's saying, he used to lie about this stuff, but he didn't, and I verified it, or whatever. Slowly, you will shift your image in people's mind, slowly, and eventually, you'll get to your destination, to who you should have been, who you wanted to be, but you couldn't, and you didn't care enough. But you will. And the only way is to just be true to yourself. I know for me, I have to be true to myself. I have to untie all the stuff that's holding me down and strip it all away. Ask God to help me. And I have to put the work in. I have to right some wrongs. I have to be a better friend, a better husband, a better father. There's a lot of things that I screwed up with my kids. And it keeps me up at night. I wish I would have been a better father to my boys. But by sitting here doing this and thinking and start now, I can start now. Why not start now? Well, it's too late. You're 42. No, it's never too late. That's what people get mistaken about. It's never too late. But you got to remember, if you look at a tape measure, okay, take it out to say 80 years. I'm 42. That's half. My life is half gone. If I'm blessed enough to live to 80. If. Now, if that doesn't wake you up, I don't know what does. I know it wakes me up. It makes me think. I don't want to keep doing what I'm doing and keep just being that guy. I don't want to be that guy anymore. I want to be a better man. I want to be a better father. I want to be a better son. I want to be a better cousin. A better everything. I just want to be a better version of myself. I don't like the old version of me. Nobody can sit here and say that your past is never gonna go away. Yeah, true, very true. Your past may explain you, but it doesn't have to define you. Okay, your past may explain you, but it does not have to define you. And I'm gonna leave you with this. Like I said earlier, my dad told me this years ago, and it stuck with me. You can change your past with your future. So for me, my goal, step by step, day by day, little by little, one little thing, start being the man that you know you can be. That's what I keep telling myself. And also, you can be this man. It's not going to be easy, but you can do it. This is Man Without a Title. I appreciate everybody for listening. And if you liked what you've seen, comment. If you have any questions, comment. Email me. Everything is in my link in my bio. I'm on Facebook, TikTok, and Spotify and YouTube. So this is episode 2. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. And God bless. And I'll see you next time.